This is Twit.
All right,
Awesome.
Amber, it is tip time, and I'm excited because this one's coming from our good friend, Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah, you know, Gary V puts out so much great content, Sarah. That's what I've been noticing lately. I mean, he writes on Medium, he writes on LinkedIn, he pushes out a ton of content for one guy who is so busy doing books and speaking and running a company. And then I found this SlideShare presentation. I'm not even sure how I found it, but it's kind of interesting. It's almost 40 slides long. It's the #1 mistake everybody makes on Twitter. And there are a bunch of different slides, and in perfect Gary V humor, he explains from the very beginning how he gets frustrated in terms of how people write tweets and a better way in particular to start your Twitter message. So what he'll say with some particular slides is that a lot of people still haven't understood that if you want everybody to see your tweet, you need to either have a period in front of it or just start it with a word and then put an @ symbol if you're including someone in it. And he goes to great lengths to describe the perfect way to formulate a tweet so everyone sees it. And this is kind of basic stuff for us, I think, but I cannot believe how many people ask me on a regular basis, okay, well, which tweets do people see? Which don't they see? What shows up in my stream for people following me? And I don't think they totally understand that just yet.
This is, I've seen this SlideShare, and it's made the rounds, definitely. And this is interesting, Amber, because I don't actually agree with Gary that this is a good thing, but I understand what he's going for, that if you are to, and his whole story is that he's a big sports fan, and if he tweets at Patriots, which is an NFL football team that apparently he doesn't like, and then the rest of the message, the only people who will see that are people that are not just following him, but also following the @Patriots account. Yeah. If you just simply put a period in front of that @ sign, then it breaks basically the Twitter syntax, and it turns into a tweet that you're sharing with everybody that just follows you, not necessarily both accounts. And that's true. And that is something that I see happen a lot. Maybe, Amber, I have too many people in my stream that use that tactic regularly. And to me, it feels like it's a lazy way to put together a tweet, because it's like, all you have to do is recompose the sentence or say something like, hey, @Patriot.
Exactly.
You know, it's the period always seems like, oh, I'm using the least amount of effort in order to blast this out to everybody, and that's forcing Sarah to see it. And I don't like that. I feel like that's pushy Twitter behavior.
It is almost too obvious, but I know we didn't quite get to the end of Gary's presentation, but when he gets into the last few slides, he actually says that. So it's kind of a process, and I actually love the presentation. I just think it's kind of cute how he took almost 40 slides to explain this, and kind of fun. And towards the end of it, he says, you know, an even better way to do this, instead of putting the period in front of the username, is to in fact reword the sentence, the 140 characters, and write something that is a little more natural. So he says, just find a different way to structure the sentence. The @Patriots haven't won a Super Bowl since they were caught cheating, and just saying truth. Those are his hashtags. So he does rephrase it at the end. And I do not like the period in front of a username. I think it's too obvious, right?
Yeah.
I mean, take a minute and just try.
Right. There's something about it that I don't know why it bothers me so much. I feel like it's I don't know why it bothers me. But again, I think the larger message is, there are things that people are doing on Twitter all the time and saying, you know what, it doesn't seem like anybody's listening, and these are just common mistakes. And yes, it does seem very like, oh, that's the most obvious tip ever to so many of us who use Twitter regularly. But let's remember, the company is trying to sign up as many new users as possible. You know, they're a public company now, and they're trying to retain their users, but also get new ones. And Twitter has always been confusing and kept a lot of people away.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Although, Sarah, I realized that I'm supposed to stop agreeing with you because we agree too much. So.
Oh, right, yes.
Sarah, you're wrong. I agree with Gary on this one.
Well,
I'm going to start all my tweets now with a period and then a username.
Sure, okay.
Every time I tweet you now, I'm going to just do period, username, see how that goes.
Well, Tweetbot has a mute function, just saying.
Oh, no.
Just saying.
See, the battle starts. The battle starts.